Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
The things that make me nervous about what's being said when we click the stream button, and you never know for sure if the microphones are muted, Brian. It's always a good time. They were. They were. It's always good.
That
Brian
wasn't
joining
even
us.
Derby related, though.
What's that?
So that wasn't even Derby related.
I don't know if that's better or worse for you.
Yeah, it's all good.
Is it? It's okay? We're good there? We're safe?
All right. Fewer people would have known.
All right, what?
Fewer people would have known the context.
Okay, so everybody's ears already sharpened and paying close attention at what might come their way through the course of the next hour or so that we're with them. Episode number 209 of the Crash Course. Going to be talking with Jeremy Ertman in a little bit from up Minnesota way to be talking about Napa WinterSLAM, which is coming up here in St. Peter, Minnesota on the 10th of February. We're here at the North Park building here at Academy Square, the home of Finger Lakes 1. We've already told you that he's here. We'll make it official, and everybody knows that Brian is here celebrating another almost successful derby or deer season.
Almost successful.
It was
the highlight of the season was our oldest son shooting the rack off a buck.
That's cool.
Yeah, he 2 weekends ago we were out hunting and we were doing a drive. I heard him shoot. And I heard him shoot again. I might have heard him shoot a few more times. We got down there. I'm like, Bud, what's up? And he's like, I didn't get it. So then we kind of looked off in the hedgerow, and you could see this deer standing there, except it was kind of like not really standing still. It kind of had a drunken wobble to it.
Right.
So it got broadside, so I pulled up and took a shot, and it hit a tree right next to it. Deer never moved. I'm like, that's interesting. So another kid shot. Deer never moved. It took like 2 steps and kind of looked around like in a daze, and it was weird. I mean, like usually you shoot towards your deer and they tend to move away.
Usually you don't expire this many rounds at one deer holding still.
So, well, we were shooting through a little bit of trees, but so it steps out in the open field. Another guy in our crew shoots it, and I walked up, and it was still, he'd hit it in the chest, and it was on its way to expiring. And I walk up, and it's got its head down, and I go to move its head because I was going to slit its throat, and sure enough, here's these where there had been horns. So I said, what the? And I kicked it over to the other side. Sure enough, you can see where there had been 2 horns. So Zach gets down, I said, Bud, that's a buck. He goes, Dad, he goes, all I could see was about the middle of the neck up. He goes, I was just aiming. So he managed to shoot the horns off it, but it was fun. We had a great season. A lot of fun.
There was 2 shots high, and it rung that deer's bell.
Concussed. That deer was concussed. But I mean, he was you know, two shots. He was close to killing his first deer. So we may sneak off this upcoming late December and do a little hunting with Jeremy.
Did you find the?
We didn't. We after we got it out because we had walked up on the drive and. He's like, did you see any horns back there? And I said, no. And then Saturday was our last day. So we, as we were walking through, his uncle and I stopped and we looked and we didn't say anything. But I mean, by then rats or mice or whatever, could have taken him away. So, but it was cool. You know, we got venison in the fridge. So,
yep. You're not starving though.
No, God no. No. Speaking of starving though, you know what I'm looking forward to? The incredible dinner at the Crash Course New Year's Eve banquet. Is it a banquet? Can we call it a banquet?
No, it's I think it's more of a party than a banquet.
More of a party than a
yes.
banquet?
Yep.
Cool.
All of the, we generally don't release the names ahead of time, but all of the year-end awards, the order for those was put in today. So those should be here anytime. The sponsor banners are here. They were in the garage today. Barring anything unforeseen, we'll have to order more banners. But those are going to be door prizes after everything's all said and done.
Cool.
We alluded to all the ha-has about people signing the autographs on those banners, and I fixed all that and made it a real challenge. They're all black.
Nice.
So nobody will know the difference one way or the other. Right?
I like that. Unless you can get the silver Sharpies though. That's the cool.
We've got a lot of those from Mr. Decker. We've gone through dozens this year. Dozens. I've noticed the gray coat car seats. They're usually dark colored, so always keep an extra silver one just in case somebody needs a car seat signed.
Cool.
Cool. Looking out for him.
Looking out.
Trying to be ready.
That's why he pays you though, as well as he does.
Literally in the tens of dollars.
Yeah. Literally. I don't even know if Josh had made it out. I know I talked to him.
Josh had planned on making it out to the podcast this week, and then I was ill yesterday, very ill. I ended up coming home from school, and I was feeling a little bit better today, and went in and got the whole day in, and so I figured if we got the whole day in, we might better do that. So I came home from school, got Kelsey from my parents, whatever, got Alan from the school. They do this art club thing once a month, so today was art club day. Dropped off an RC car over in town, went back home and got the last little bits of the Christmas decorations out that had to be done, and then came here, and there was plenty of collateral damage on our path to getting here, but nonetheless, we stand here proudly before you saying that Christmas we are still not yet prepared for.
Yeah, we went out. How about this? How about Saturday? I get a thing on my Facebook, an offer of 4 tickets to the Giants Dallas game.
Yeah,
for Sunday.
Yeah,
and row 125, which is good, excellent seats. And
now, before you respond to this, did you go to the seating chart and look at where the seats were?
No. Last year we went with Jeremy Gully. Hooked us up last year. The gentleman that owns the Upland Bird Hunting Preserve that Jeremy runs, he has season tickets. And last year Jeremy invited myself and both my boys down to watch a football game with him. And his tickets are, I believe it's section 119, like 19 rows up from the bottom.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew 119, 125. It couldn't be that really far away. So I got this offer, and it was Saturday afternoon. We were cutting up a deer, and the youngest one was going to he was running the race, the It's a Wonderful Life race, and I said something to Zach.
5,000 people were.
Yeah, well, 4,500. But I said something to Zach. I said, we got an offer for tickets. You want to go? And he's like, no. I'm like, what? He said, no. So we got to get our Christmas tree. So my wife saw the offer too, and she asked Nick, and Nick kind of wanted to go, but I said, text Zach, but he said he wants to get the Christmas tree. So the boys decided it was time to get our tree, and we did that Saturday. And
so they couldn't go get the Christmas tree and have it all set up for you guys when you got home?
No, we went and got a Christmas tree, and under our oldest is a little upset because it wasn't quite 12 foot tall like normal. It's probably somewhere in the 10, 6 to 11 foot range, so he's not quite as happy. But
my mom got a Christmas tree,
and
she got it right about the same time as most people do, September 30th.
Is it a nice shade of brown now?
It's struggling. It's got to make 2 more weeks. I don't know how it's going to pull it off. That is crispy. I mean, like the ornaments aren't sagging the branches anymore as much as they're just breaking them off flush.
Nice.
It's
a good thing your dad was a fireman.
Yeah,
he can put that stuff out quick.
Yeah, he knows what he's working with at least.
But
yeah, it's not good. One of my friends at school, they went out to pick their real tree, and they took their boy Easton. I think it was the first time he made the trip out really to know what was going on. And the axe got stuck in the tree, and then they had to get the chainsaw out to cut it down. And it was a disaster. And they had to get it that weekend, which was a great decision. But now theirs is also suffering the same fate. It's now a nice shade of tawny green. It's not good.
The key is warm water. Warm water keeps them healthy.
Yeah, the key is to get an artificial one. You don't have to worry about all that.
Yes. We Thursday night, we went over to my parents' house. Zach and I did, and my mom's like, "Come on in, I want to show you my tree." First off, she has a fake tree, so I don't like it. Second off, we walk in, and that sucker is like 5 foot tall, and I just shook my head. And she's like, "If you could have saw the look on your and Zach's faces," she's like, "it was identical." But apparently, our face didn't have that longing, loving Christmas.
Was it the same Christmas tree that you had up when you were a kid?
No, we always got real trees.
Yeah.
And it had to touch the ceiling. or I was not a happy young man.
I don't get that.
I like big trees.
I guess. I
like big trees. I will tell you.
Like big trees.
And then as I
you
mentioned,
cannot lie. Is that
is that
what we're
big trees, and according to my wife, I've passed that gene on to my son, and he's got it even worse. So, but our youngest ran the It's a Wonderful Life 5K. Improved this time by 4 minutes from last year to this year. So did pretty good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he did well. It was actually, the weather was good this time. It was, nice crisp winter evening, and no snow or sleet or any of that good stuff. And so we're ready for some Derby action, Chris. What's next? What is next on our calendar in the Derby
for
world?
For us, I mean, I'll joke aside. The next thing for us on our Derby calendar is going to be New Year's Eve. I mean, that's the big thing that's sitting out there right now. Tickets are available through Friday. If you wait until after Friday, I can't guarantee anything. You need to at least RSVP. It's $280 for a couple, and that includes tickets for two, your overnight accommodations, open bar for 4 hours, champagne toast at midnight, and you're in on the drawings. Which the door prizes, we joked about those banners, but they are going to be on the table. After we set those out for a decent amount of time. I heard Ed Brewster is now locked in to come, which means that there will probably be an RC raffle car there.
Cool.
And almost guarantee that's going to happen. So that's exciting. Jason Brzezinski's progressively getting closer and closer to a full trailer to deliver all his stuff out here. So he's coming out. We've got the Cadillac, which is available, that everybody can get in on. That's a separate raffle, but the door prize table includes the keys to a 1985 Crown Vic, a new Tahoe, and a Camry. The first car to be raffled off, the first door prize pulled, is most likely going to be the Crown Vic. I mean, I suppose if there's a compact guy that won it, that really, really wanted to push the issue, we could give him the Camry first. But generally, we do the car, and then second place, you get your pick. After that, but I mean, you can't go wrong.
No.
You get dinner and overnight just by itself, plus a chance to walk home with a car. It's not a bad evening.
Dinner overnight and open bar for 3 hours? I mean, you can do some damage in 3 hours.
I mean, you don't want to. Open bar is 4 hours.
4 hours
for one.
For one.
And then second is just focusing on the revelry and dinner alone with the overnight accommodations over there. It's not.
And do some damage. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's damage. I mean, it's carnage. It turns into.
It's a great time.
We had a training earlier this week at school about appropriate use of social media. I got to figure out what that message is all about. Somebody just asked me if we're going to postpone due to weather. I have no idea what they're talking about. It's New Year's Eve is New Year's Eve. That happens I hope that's not what the question was about. I lost my appropriate use of social media and how which we knew that employers were looking at Facebook and what they were using and stuff and going so far as to if you are tagged in something that a particular individual finds unsavory or they don't like, that you can still get fired without question, which brought me to New Year's Eve. Well, I'm going to get tagged 500 times that night and in a number of pictures that are probably not going to be appropriate. But, hey.
You'll have your clothes on. That's all that really matters.
This year I promise that we will keep that intact.
Good deal. No, like I said, I mean, it's a really fun night. I mean, there's so many people there you can just, hang out and talk Derby with, and, you don't really get a chance to do it at Derbies. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That is the one thing that I enjoy about it. I mean, Jeremy Gully's coming, Jamie Davis is coming, Jake Sherman, Eric Mears sent me his note that he's going to make it. Duncan Cram's coming. We got some people from down in Pennsylvania that always make the trip up. Brad Tyson and like that entire crew is coming, which is really, it's great to see all those guys and not have the pressure of trying to get through tech or trying to get all of our stuff set up or having to fix the car or having to get the car loaded so that we can get home or trying to get our stuff loaded so that we can get home. That is one of the nice perks of that atmosphere. Is it's much more laid back and easy going.
As long as you don't yell at us.
I don't think I'm yelling at anybody there.
Sometimes
they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great time. Like I've been touching on Facebook and we've talked about it here a bunch. But I mean, it really is. It's a lot of fun. A lot of great people there. Just hanging out. It's really cool.
Next week we got Jeremy Gully coming in the studio.
Yep, Jeremy will be here next week.
Again, I'm going to be dialing up Jeremy Ertman here in just a few minutes.
Today's like a nice spring day in Minnesota. I mean, it's 25, 40 mile an hour wind.
All the kids.
And this is like spring in Minnesota.
Everybody was counting on a snow day today.
Yeah. That's
a little misplaced.
The oldest had to get his teeth cleaned, and then I took him to the gym afterwards. They're all like, Coach, we're not going to have school tomorrow. And I'm like, yes, you are. Coach, it's going to be sub-zero tomorrow. And I'm like, no, it's not. Coach, we're getting a foot of snow. No, we're not. It's just, they used to call this sort of thing winter when I was a kid, but now they get all excited. And, it's funny. I mean, when we were kids, we all, hoped we were going to get the school canceled and stuff. But we haven't had a real honest-to-goodness storm in a long time.
We had a good one 2014 when that weather band set in over top of Buffalo. And it just kept blowing lake effect and they're having snow as high as houses. But
we haven't had a true white Christmas since the year our son was born. I remember that year we had a true foot of snow on the ground, still snow on Christmas. And he just turned 15, so it's been going on 15 years since we've had a real honest-to-goodness white Christmas.
It's a long time.
It is.
That's a long time.
And for especially a snow band like New York. It's kind of sad. We really think about it.
I'm content with where we're at in terms of the snowfall. I'm perfectly fine with that. Keep all of it in Watertown and Buffalo. Let's see. The Florida Southern National Showdown, February the 10th, 2018. Two-man team demolition derby. I think we're up to 24 teams now is what JC said we had them on last week. Hernando County Fairgrounds is the site of it, 6436 Broad Street, Brownsville, Florida. HernandoFairgrounds.com has all of your ticketing information and event info online there. They've got a couple different support classes. JC's got like 70 cars that he's got to finish building at this point to make sure that everybody's good to go. But that's going to be a fun one. The focus of our conversation here in a little bit, we get Jeremy on the phone, is Napa Winter Slam. It's full. If you want to watch it, if you want to see it, you're going to have to be there. If you want to be part of it, you're going to have to be in the grandstands. All the spots at this point are full. Full-size weld class. No wagons allowed. 35 cars max. $2,000 to win. $13.50 for second. $7.50 for third. They pay the top 10 in all four one-and-done divisions. The 80s chain class, that's probably the most fun class to watch there,
Absolutely.
Hands down, because that's 35 cars and it's done within about 18 minutes.
Yeah,
it goes.
They get done at the end of that, and there's nothing in good shape.
$1,000 to win, $750 for second, $400 for third. There, light build trucks, 35 max, $1,000 to win, $600, $300 through the top three. Again, they pay through 10th. And the compacts are always a fun run too because they get up on top of the track. They don't sink down at all, and they're blistering back and forth. 35 cars will be darting around the track for that 108-inch wheelbase and under. $1,000 to win, $600, $300. The payback goes through 10th. Each class has a heavy hitter award, $300 in a trophy. The best paint is $100 in a plaque. The longest tow gets $100. Second longest gets $75. Best Western Mankato has rooms available. $99 for a double, $109 for poolside. 507-65-9333. Randy Maslowski's got info for you. 507-327-1944 or Jeremy Ertman 507-525-4290. And I know for a fact that they have a couple rooms left because we've got two of them on hold. They still had a couple left.
Have you seen the thing going back and forth between Jonathan Mavis and Chris Lancaster about who's building what for Winter Slam?
No.
Somehow one of them, they're trying to get one to build a Cutlass, like a 70s Cutlass, and asking back and forth what they should run, and pretty cool to watch the two go back and forth and bust on each other.
Lancaster likes to do something off the beaten path. He just likes to have something fun for this. Like remember the year that he had a Thunderbird with a
472 in it? Yeah. I said, hey, how come that guard motor's home in the garage? I wanted to run this. And that's when they had like two salamanders running on the motor to get it warm enough to start it. Yeah, that was bad.
It didn't work out well, but he accomplished what he wanted. He wanted to go out and have fun.
He did.
Mitch Carlson, I'm anxious to see what he decides to bring. He's a guy that I'm watching to have some success out there in the weld class.
Stenberg, he lost steering about the first hit last year, I think it was.
And he had a great car too.
Yeah, and he was still there at the end. It was a great show. Definitely, I mean, this is the first year I'm going to miss it, and I think this is would be the fourth year going back. And
because you're going to sunny Florida,
I'm going to be
instead.
in Florida. But you know what, though? In all honesty, I'm going to miss Winter Slam. It's a great derby. A lot of fun. A lot of great friends up there. But I'm sure Florida's going to be just as fun. So it'll be a good time. Chris is looking to get a hold of Jeremy, who I believe they've already been working on the track and dialing that in. Last year we actually had a really nice day. It was like 42 or 43 and not much of a breeze. Track held up awesome. Definitely a bigger track.
Yeah, that track definitely didn't go away.
No, it did not. It was definitely a great show.
Hey, can I put you in?
Looking forward to it. It's gonna be another great show up there.
And we got Jeremy on the line. Jeremy, how are you?
How's it going, guys? I'm good here.
That's good. We were told to ask you if the track was done yet.
The track is done flat. Brandon did an amazing job. It's dry. We got good drainage this year, so as long as we can get it froze hard good before we get a bunch of snow, it's going to be one of the fastest tracks we've ever had.
Good deal. If you guys haven't had any real cold snaps up there yet to get the ground froze?
What's that? I'm having a hard time hearing you guys.
All right, hang on. Let me work on that. We'll do that, and we'll adjust that part. Make sure that's set. We're just wondering if you've had any cold snaps to tighten that track up yet, or has it still been typical early winter where it's just sloppy and cold?
Well, Bando and Jennifer, I seen were ice fishing up in Blacks, so that isn't too far away from St. Peter.
Cool.
I'm 3 hours south of there, and we don't have much for ice down here. We haven't had any moisture as far as snow on the ground, except for a little dusting about a week and a half ago, I suppose. But it's been melting during the day. We've had some pretty solid freezing nights, so the ground is starting to get some frost built up into it, and we don't have no moisture sitting on top of it. So the ideal conditions are happening right now. It's freezing hard down real good at night and not thawing out with any moisture on it during the day. So if we get a couple more weeks of this, get a good foot underneath that track, me and Brandon will just move some snow and it'll be just like concrete.
Nice.
I like the sounds of that.
That'll be awesome.
Is it getting easier to get acclimated to St. Peter now that you've been there? Getting through the adjustment period. I know one of the challenges last year was getting all the equipment on the ground, moved up from Blue Earth so that you could have the flexibility in terms of track maintenance and preparation that you've enjoyed year after year when you were down in Blue Earth.
Well, it was basically, Brandon Thomas is on the fair board has helped us out tremendously with we didn't have the what's the word I'm looking for? We didn't have the means and sources that we did down south. So that was one of the deciding factors of me and Randy and Joey of moving it, knowing that we had resources down south where if we run into a pinch, we could get it done yet. Where we pretty much put our faith in, St. Peter and the Fair Board and Brandon Thomas that they were going to back us on that, and they fulfilled that 110%, and we're real happy to be signed again for 2018, and they've accommodated the grounds a lot better now. On the north side of the track where we had it kind of sloped down, that's all filled. That's all grandstand area now.
Mm-hmm.
On the north side is grandstand area all the way to the main grandstands in between. We've added we've tripled our grandstands from last year.
Wow.
How many people were there last year?
I want to say 4,500.
And you've tripled it?
No, we tripled the extra seating.
Oh, okay. I'm with you. Okay, I got you.
To accommodate. Another cool thing that we got going on that's new this year, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be intrigued about this if it's really cold out that day. We are not going to have a heated beer tent this year. We're going to use the building right next to the grandstands.
Okay.
Well, not only okay. Well, the problem with that is you can't see, and that's what everybody's there to do.
Right.
So Gus Davis Adolphus College is going to bring in like an 80-inch flat screen down and stream it live inside that building, elevated, so everybody that's inside can watch it while they're inside in the beer garden.
That's cool.
That is going to be full of people.
Yep.
If the weather is bad, that is going to be full of people.
It's going to be elbow to elbow.
And another thing that a lot of people didn't realize last year, you know how we used to be in that little building for vending down there in Garden City. Well, we got that big Johnson Hall now. Well, them bathrooms are heated, and people didn't realize that during the show that they can use the heated bathrooms in Johnson Hall during the event, and that's just 2 buildings down. So just so everybody knows, we do have heated bathrooms too.
Can't beat that. Now, will you guys be having the trade show and stuff as you have in the past with the vendors and people bringing parts to sell and stuff?
Oh yeah, we got something a little cool, kind of neat, new going on with that too. A lot of people are calling, wanting to reserve spots already. Scott Friesen builds model replicas of derby cars, and maybe some of you guys have seen some of his work on Facebook. But he's a big model guy, and he is going to bring a big display of what he has, some of the stuff that he has.
Sure.
And he's going to set it up in the middle of Johnson Hall, and you will be amazed. It's going to take him like 2 days to set this up.
Wow.
Just for people to look at.
Cool.
Some of the work and some of the stuff that he does.
Cool.
He's got a whole diorama that he's going to set up. That's going to be wild.
That's awesome.
I like that. That's cool. The grounds themselves, is it going to continue to be open access? So one price gets you access to the pits and the grandstands and the beer tent?
Yep. The way the fairground is set up there, it would be too hard to police that. Randy and I tried to figure out a way where we could police it. And, it's a specialty event, $20 all access. You can go talk to your favorite drivers. You can go down in the pits, check out the cars before they go through tech, kind of see how everything goes. You can wander through the vendings. You can still sit in the grandstands. You can be a part of the whole experience with one pass. So that's the reason we chose to go that way.
That's cool.
Do you guys have enough time in the course of the day, now that this thing is starting to run more efficiently, if you took and cut the chain class back to, say, 20 cars and ran 2 flights of them, or cut it back to 25 cars and ran 2 flights of them because that class is in such high demand?
I mean, it's something that we've thought about. We've thought about heats and whatnot. We took a driver vote, and I don't know if you guys were on board with us yet. Randy and I took a driver's vote down in Garden City one year and asked the drivers if we wanted to try and make, some heats and make things a little bit smaller. And it was kind of I want to say a 75-25% split that nobody wanted to do that, because if it is cold and then you have to go back and work on your cars, they didn't want it. They didn't want to do heat. Now, as far as making 2 features and one and done's, that's a possibility in the future, and it's something we can talk about.
I'm just watching how much this show has grown, and it's exponential. You look at the number of people that are coming out to stand around on a potentially. We've been there when it's been below zero easily. Super cold, but it didn't deter the fans at all. No. And now that you've got a little bit bigger venue and you can mess with your start time a little bit more freely, you can fit that in, and you've just got such a remarkable demand to get in as part of that event, especially in that the 80s chain class. There's so many people that want to be part of it that while sure it's elite, it's big time selective, so to say. Even though it comes down to random draw, it's not like Randy's picking and choosing who's in or anything along those lines. But it's elite. It's not easy to get into, and just to try and satisfy that thirst among more of the chain class drivers, would it be possible to add that? But then again, on the same token, the way the show is right now, it's definitely not broken. Why would you mess with it? Why would you try and squeeze more in? Because if it is a cold day, then people are walking away.
You're ready to be done.
I don't think heats are the way to go. I'm definitely against doing heats. The one and dones are absolutely the way to go. Nobody wants to be rolling around out there in the ground when it turns from ice, and it does turn to a little bit of slop, trying to change colors or tires and changing, fixing rails and torching and stuff like that. Nobody wants any part of that.
No, definitely not.
Right. We're trying to stay with a 4-hour window. By 6 o'clock, even if it is a 35-degree day, by 6 o'clock, you know how it is in New York. I mean, it's downright bone-chilling cold by 6 o'clock at night, and starting to freeze up again, even if it was 35 degrees that day. So, I mean, we try to stay in that 4-hour window, and starting at 2 o'clock, I mean, if we started tech at 4 o'clock in the morning, we could start at noon and squeeze a couple more in. but everybody, and I was guilty, all the years I ran, you know it just as well as every other derby driver out there, everybody overbuilds.
Right.
So Randy needs that time with his crew for tech and retech, and everybody's trying to get away with stuff. Now that we put the rule out there that you only have 2 times or you got to put it on the trailer, things have gotten progressively better. Mm-hmm. So like you say, there's such a high demand in so many different decisions. Which one's the right one? You know what I'm saying? I mean, where do you go with it?
Sure.
And again, you said it a minute ago. Things aren't broken right now. This is a hard derby to get into if you're a new driver. And like you say, I mean, things are working. We got a great payout. We pay out, a lot of money that day, top 10 in every class. With all the vending stuff in the middle of winter, centrally located. I mean, I don't know what we could change to make it better besides adding extra classes, but then we would have to do tech the day before, kind of like Blizzard Bash and that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where we were prepared and had a guaranteed start time of like 12 o'clock.
Right. So I guess my last question, my last follow-up to this this topic itself is, are you tired of people asking you to add classes yet?
That is the biggest question that we try to avoid. Yes. Yes and no. I mean, just like anything else, it does get old hearing it, because one driver don't know that this driver just said that, and that driver just said the same thing, and the phone calls that we all get, they don't realize how much we hear even from outside sources and phone calls and whatnot, not so much on Facebook and there, but also in person as well.
Right.
So, I mean, yes, I'm sick of answering that question. I'm sure Randy is too, but to have that much support in the Demolition Derby community is amazing in itself. So how can you get tired of answering that question because of so much response on wanting to make this show grow?
Right. Well, I mean, I kind of agree with that. It's one of those things where we've certainly been asked the same thing too. Why don't they do this or why don't they do that? You've got particular limitations, and right now it's special to make that. You don't have a driver pool that's falling off. You're not struggling to fill any of the divisions. What's the reasoning other than just doing it for the sake of doing it that you want to add to it? It's a great show as it is, and you guys are limited. At the end of the day, you are limited with how much sunlight you're going to get up there. You only get about 14 minutes of sunlight in the month of February, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's dark at 5:30.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. I mean, that's every year, we've watched the size of this derby grow, And I expect it to be bigger again this year. I expect there to be more fans, and obviously I think this is the first time that every class is full. I think last year all but like 1 or 2 was full maybe, but this year every class is full early. Like Jeremy said, it's hard to get in to run.
Last year it was a couple of the classes were full with alternates
Yeah.
on hold, and this year I think all the classes have alternates on
Yeah.
deck, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Absolutely. So I mean, it's definitely, and that's the thing. I mean, it's a niche derby, and that it's the perfect time. We've touched on how big of a derby foothold Minnesota really is. I mean, you think about it. There's a lot of great drivers in Minnesota. And a lot of them come and run this show, and there's a lot of great derby fans in Minnesota, and a lot of them come and watch the show. So, I mean, it's a testament to the heart and soul of the derby fans there. But I mean, it's
a test of the heart and soul.
Yeah,
because you got to be ready to spend all day in the cold.
But you know what though? In all honesty, you don't start noticing it until we start tearing stuff down. I usually don't get cold. That's the God's honest truth. With the stuff going on in the track and then talking about it between, I don't really notice it until we get done and we start picking stuff up, and then it's hard to move fingers and stuff is pretty cold. But really, with the excitement on the track, I mean it's fast paced to get cars off the track afterwards quickly. So it's definitely.
I do remember that. All of a sudden, you go to set the microphone down. Set the microphone down, and you got to empty your fingers.
It definitely gets chilly, but I mean, that's the thing. And every year it's in the top 5 most popular derbies in the world. I mean, it's been there for 4 years now, 5 years now, which I see the voting's out again, and I'm sure it'll be right back up there.
I guess the top 5.
I'm pretty sure we could guess the top 5. But I mean, it is. I've loved every minute I've been up there, and like I said, I'm really gonna miss not being there this year. Like I said, I'm gonna be down south, but it's gonna be a great derby. And if you're on the fence, absolutely go watch it, because it is going to be a great show.
The thing is we joked about the heated beer garden. You're gonna be able to go watch it, anything like that. At least at the start of all of those features, you will have a true gauge of how many people are there.
Oh, yeah.
At least for the starts of those, before those folks, the cold sets in. I remember one of the years before we went there the first time, Jill Lancaster sent us photos. And they were in the magazine. And there was trucks sideways on the wall, and it was just snow-covered berms and everything. And the crowd was deep. They didn't give up on it until the cold really started settling in. And in their mind, they could figure out the pecking order and sort of figured out who's going to win what.
Yep.
You're going to get a good gauge of how many people are actually there when they're standing 10 deep, even though all the stands are full, too.
And that's the thing. I mean, last year, I said it, because we had a great vantage point last year. We were up on the scaffolding there.
Yes, it was a great vantage point to yell at people from.
Yeah, which Tammy had me doing pretty regularly. But to stand up on there, I mean, you could, you had a bird's eye view, and you could see. I mean, there was, the stands were all full, and they were legit 5 and 6 deep all the way around that track.
To the point where it was a problem.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there was definitely, but that's the thing. I mean, that's. Until you go there and see how good of a derby it is, and it's just the whole atmosphere. I mean, it's the first derby of the year, and everybody's excited, and a lot of great fresh cars are there, and guys put a lot of time into it. It's a great show, man. If you're on the fence about going, go. It's going to be worth it.
In terms of
I just as I'm listening to you guys talk, I'm just reminiscing in my head the day that I put it on Wheat Crash the very first year that I was possibly thinking, and I was fresh into promoting then, and I only had one show down here, and I helped Randy and Stacy Flynn for a while, and and Paul Nielsen up there, and Albert Lee, and kind of got to know everybody, and I threw it out there on Wheat Crash that we were thinking about maybe having a winter derby, and all of a sudden that page just took off, and it was all drivers. It was just, we'd definitely do that. Middle of February, we'd come, but, are you going to have your spectators, and then Randy called me about a week later after he seen the thread that had kind of blown up a little bit, and he says, as crazy as this sounds, you want to partner up on this deal? And I'm like, well, if you want to fall down just as hard as I do, I guess we can do it together. and then we got some money rounded up, and I'm just reminiscing how this all started, and it was just a brainstorm and a thread on WeCrash, and that's how this all started.
What about the transition that you guys made to get away from the ultra heavy Minnesota trucks into the lighter build? I mean, what did that do in terms of shooting some new life into the show?
The spectators
Yeah.
love to see stuff fall apart.
Yep.
They don't want to, not your hardcore people that follow Derby, and who the people that are listening to us right now, that's the group I'm talking about. The hardcore Derby people. Of course they're going to be there,
yep.
But it's the people of Mankato, St. Peter, the surrounding areas, our sponsors that only particularly go to this one specialty show. When they just watching two trash cans hit each other and nothing falls apart out in the middle of the track, and it goes and goes and goes, and it's an hour and 15 minutes long, and it's no fun for the crowd. And I'm not putting that lightly, because I love Brett Nelson and all them guys that build a good heavy truck. I love watching them guys run, because I know how sore they are the next day. So don't get me wrong, I enjoy the heavy builds, but to the satisfaction of the fans, we needed to turn our focus into something that was going to entertain a little faster, better, and things were going to fall apart, so that it actually looked like, they were crashing up good.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, the first year we were there, they still had the heavy build trucks, and those guys were absolutely on the gas. But as heavy built as those trucks were, they weren't bending. They weren't, like Jeremy said, they weren't falling apart.
The first year, the tires. I think it was the first year that we were there. I'm trying to remember. First year, or the second year that we were there, the hard skid steer tires weren't the tire of choice. The first year. The skid steer tires were the skid steer tires were smoking on the surface. It was so cold, and a couple of those guys that put the Blizzaks on, and Kenny Rosno, that changed the game. But there was a lot more trucks the first year than the second year we went back. The trucks had sort of fallen off, and they captured the lightning in the bottle with that light truck build. It was like when the super stocks came around out here, and all those cars started showing up built to those rules, and it really worked out well getting that many trucks out there, and there's such a great group of drivers out there for the truck class. They really support what the trucks are. You know what I mean? They don't have to build them like animals. Certainly they like to, but they also have an affinity for concussions. They build them a little bit softer, and it's an even better show.
Yeah, definitely. And
and not only that, not to cut you guys off, but like them lighter build trucks, you can still build them if you use your head and do a light build truck. You can still fix them and run them at like Randy's shows and some of our local fairs after that, because that is the class that's kind of blowing up after that. Yes, so not only are you starting off, with a fresh truck at Winter Slam, and say you had a little bad luck and something went wrong, it's not like you can't run it anywhere the rest of the summer, because a lot of the local rules are going to that as well.
I'm trying to remember. Is Winter Slam a fresh car only? There's no pre-run stuff allowed?
No pre-runs allowed.
In any of the classes?
None.
I mean, I think that's why the 80s wire class is so popular up there, because those guys tear those cars apart. I mean, they go out there and stand on the gas and just absolutely, just make junk. And I think that's why that class is so popular, because it's, I mean, they get done, and usually every car out there is banana shaped, and they really put on a show and tear stuff up. So.
Well, to be honest with you, Chris, let me take that statement back.
Okay.
A pre-ran that is plated is not allowed, but now a pre-ran that went out and got 3 scratches and a dent, and you can't hardly tell it's a pre-ran, and it's never been altered anywhere. And Randy and his crew, when they call in, that's kind of an exception. Say something stupid happened and your starter went out on the line and you got banged around a little bit, but it's still a fresh car. I mean, there's certain instances where you can bend that rule a little bit, but yes, for the 99%, yes, it is fresh cars only.
Gotcha. Interesting. So plated cars need not apply. Fix-it plate cars need not apply. Basically, fresh frames. If you got it to roll a little bit or got the body to get punched in a little bit, go ahead and try to bring it back out. But if it's starting to roll and you've got fix-it plates and stuff on it, you don't have to worry about making the trip to Winter Slam with the car. You can just come in and watch from the stands or build a fresh one. But Brian, you were saying about that's one of the things that you make. You think makes that 80s class so appealing is that it's no pre-runs. Basically what you're going up against front to back, and there's some incentive there. You're going to have to beat fresh cars, so you're going to have to drive the car that you've got.
And you're going to have to beat Colton Newhoffen.
You're going to have to beat Colton Newhoffen 5 times now?
Yeah, five.
Pretty impressive. And he wasn't supposed to win it last year.
No, they were about trying to beat him. But he went out there and he drove hard. He drove real hard for about the first 3/8 of that feature. I mean, half, and then he started picking stuff off. But it was definitely a battle, and he was. I mean, you know what? He's good. Period.
He's good. Period.
Yeah, I mean,
say no more.
That's just you can say whatever you want about Colton, but he is a excellent driver and an excellent builder. So, but again, that's I think he got a shot on one of his rear corners last year, and it kind of buckled in. And didn't go the way he was hoping, I believe. But he ended up.
Didn't it go the way that he was hoping it would?
Yeah,
no, it puckered. The arch closed, and it started to go down.
Yeah. And he also remember last year he did a repeat of the hit that won him Hit of the Year last year. He had one just quite a bit like that at Winter Slam right in front of us.
That's right.
There was a Cadillac up in that corner.
That's right. He grenaded the back end of that thing.
Yeah. He hit him about 40. So it was. Like I said, it is truly a great show. I really love it. It's one of my favorite shows. Chris is going to be up there this year, and I believe Melissa's going as well.
I'm not sure what the plan is yet right now. How we're going to juggle that. I know Darren said that he would come up and help a little bit up in the booth, just trying to keep everything straight, because we do like to score it in full, front to back. So that
by we, you mean you.
Well, yeah, that too. That's one of the things that we're still trying to put the finishing touches on those plans together on, so that we can do it the right way. There's no live element, and there's not going to be going forward because there's too many variables with weather. Just like adding classes, I'll answer it because I love the fact that everybody wants to see what's going on up there, so they can get a taste of it before they make the trip. Because all the people that are asking, they're saying, I want to see it before we go. So there's no live element. The only live element is going to be inside the beer garden, and people are going to be in the stands before they go inside. So,
absolutely.
And they'll probably tape blankets down so they have someplace to come back to after they warm up.
No doubt.
The Best Western, Randy kind of had a little blurb with that. You know how last year they changed management on us like 3 times right before the show?
Yep.
And they just sold out again.
Okay.
So now the after party, we still have the hotel booked.
Okay.
I can't remember. I can't remember the date. I think it's till the 1st of the year, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I can post that information. Well, I think Randy's got some stuff up on our Winter Slam page right now about the Best Western. But the whole hotel is booked under Winter Slam until that date that Randy has on there.
Yep.
And and now the after party, there's no bar, there's no restaurant in that motel no more.
Did they forget they're in Minnesota?
It's crazy, but now it's bring your own beer.
Okay.
Whoa.
So everybody, there's a little liquor store right next to the parking lot right there.
Oh yeah, there is.
And she is probably going to be the happiest person in the world when Winter Slam comes to Mankato to the Best Western.
I agree completely. She will be.
But the after party is all BYOB. So
all right.
That'll be kind of fun, interesting. New venue, same band as last year.
Okay.
Nothing's really changed with that.
So we still have run of the hotel. You're just letting us bring our own stuff in with us.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the decision they'll regret.
Yeah, because they're about to lose a lot of money.
Yep, they're gonna wish they had that bar back.
Yeah.
The corner liquor store. The corner liquor store, though. Yes, they're gonna have a special by the time we get closer to this. That if you show your ticket stub, you get 10% off.
And how about the gas station right there across?
There's a gas station. Yeah, we're gonna eat dinner at the gas station. We always do.
Yeah. beer and wow. They're about to lose a lot.
Well, don't forget about our vendors. You know, we got Smoking Bros again coming this year.
Okay.
And they'll be back there in the pits in the corner, kind of where they were last year. You know, always great food from them guys. Mm-hmm. I've heard nothing but good out of the crowd, the spectators, the drivers, and there's always seems to be a line there. So Smoking Bros will be back again this year, so there'll be plenty of food. The Fairboard has burgers and pork chops going on all day.
Napa.
We got everything covered. Napa, can't say enough about Napa. This is year number 6 with Napa, and Napa Auto Parts. You know, can't say enough about the 5-star group up there in Mankato. They support us. They come there every year. We have a local Napa right there in St. Peter. If you there'll be a booth set up in the Johnson Hall. If something stupid happens during the day, we do have a parts runner that will go down to the Napa if they have it on hand. If we can get it from the Mankato store and they have to make a special trip, if something happens that morning where you need something, we have that covered.
Awesome.
And parts runners. So, Napa has supported us amazing throughout this whole adventure, and their continued support is great, and I can't thank Napa enough to help this event grow.
Napa's been a huge player in helping this thing build to what it is, and helping make sure that they can pay out the purses that they do, and it's been awesome working with them. We had those guys come up and talk with us a couple times. It was nice meeting them, and looking forward to seeing those guys again. The parts runner deal is fantastic. We had a couple of people that took full advantage of that last year after they went through tech inspection, had some oddball stuff happen, and those cars were out there on track because of it.
No doubt.
And the nice part is the parts runners generally just ask you what you need. They don't ask you what year, make, and model it came off of.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
Anybody who's bought parts for a derby car understands that you can't necessarily go by that.
No.
And it can really become challenging at the counter.
Yeah, they really look at you funny.
For sure.
But no, that's Napa. You know, they'll be there. They'll have a booth set up, and then, like I say, there'll be full parts runner. Up until, I think, 1:30, I think will be kind of the cutoff.
Right.
For that, because we need to get tech done and our driver's meeting done and try and be on schedule. You know, last year we ran about 14 minutes late, which was the best we've ever done. And I think 1:30 will be the cutoff for the parts runner, I think is what she said.
Gotcha. Is there anybody else that you were wanting to make mention of? I know we talked about the food vendors, the fairgrounds, all the folks that are helping make sure that you've got grounds equipment there ready to go. The addition of that indoor closed circuit TV system that's going to be brought in from the college, and of course Napa. We don't want to overlook them. Is there anybody else you want to make mention of?
My wife, Amy, fiance, I should say, Amy, for putting up with it. Tammy Mislowski, Randy's wife, for putting up with this. And my mom.
Your mom's the best.
And all of our helpers. I mean, Kathy, she's the one up there doing the scoring with you guys every year. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can't do this without all of the great help that we have. And every year we try to make steps that are, trying to make things just a little bit better. And it's never going to be perfect. I can't ever guarantee that, but it'll definitely improve every year, and we hope to continue to grow. And I can't thank you guys enough for the support from you guys and the advertising, guys coming out, hanging out. I mean, I know I'm forgetting so many people that I'm probably going to get some phone calls after this, but
send me some.
But I mean, there's a lot of people to thank.
Well, it is no small task to pull off this derby in any way, shape, or form. There's a lot of people that are wandering around in those Winter Slam shirts, and their efforts don't go unnoticed. And what has become almost protocol on Jeremy's appearances is we'll hang up the phone. About a half hour later, he'll send me about 4 Facebook messages. We'll go through. We'll tag their names in the post on Facebook, and everything will be back to an even keel and copacetic from that point.
Can you imagine the fair board though? I mean, when they say, all right, you can have a demolition derby here, then can you imagine when they saw almost 5,000 people show up? I mean, they had to just been shocked. I mean, and the support obviously, they had for the help their fair. And it's just amazing. I mean, all the way around. I mean, it's a big deal for the town. I mean, there's a lot of money coming in that.
It's a big deal for the community as a whole. I mean, demolition derby across the board. This is becoming in my mind, it's a rarity. I haven't come across a lot of places that are having outdoor derbies in February.
No.
that are in that climate.
No.
So I mean, it is a novelty derby. It's a destination derby. It's a great time. I can't wait to hang out with your mom again, especially now that it's BYOB. So that's going to be a good time. Your mom's always she is the life of the party.
She is, and don't forget about Terry Evans and Badass Trophies. He's coming again.
Awesome
for hardest hitters, and then I can't believe what my mom did last year. I don't know if that ever got recognized, but my mom had a special promoter trophy made for my brother and I from Badass Trophies, and my mom has that on her mantle at her house.
That's cool.
And I thought that was pretty special.
Absolutely.
And thanks Terry Evans for his continued support. He posted on there the other day on my post when I took a picture of the track. He said, well, I better start looking for some parts. See you in a few months. And,
Right.
Terry's such a great guy to be around. And, I can't thank Randy. I mean, realistically, Randy and Joey, them two, we're a backbone together. I mean, we're a good team. We've overcome a lot of hurdles, and I just can't thank them two enough, to be honest with you. I mean, the respect and admiration that I have for both Randy and Joey for this is wonderful. So,
well, in a couple of weeks we'll get Randy on. We'll be able to talk with him. So anybody that we may have inadvertently missed, we'll be able to hit on them at that time too. We're just about at the cap of what we've got here. We got a couple quick things to run through before we move on. Bash for Cash, just want to make a quick mention of that one. Bash for Cash coming up Memorial Day weekend at the end of May at the Ross County Fairgrounds, Chillicothe, Ohio. Near at Big Rock, kicker class, paying $11,000 to win. It's open to new and old iron. There's an old iron bonus, $3,000 bonus if they win, or $1,500 going to the highest placing old iron if it's won by a metric car. DerbyTees.com, turn back the clock class. That's open to all entries as well. There's a metric bonus on the flip side for that. $3,000 extra going home with a metric car if it wins. $1,500 extra dollars going to the highest placing metric car if it's won by an old iron. $10,000 to win DC Headers Compact Class, Frank the Tank Old School Wire Class, full-size trucks, youth compacts, compact trucks. All those have openings at $75 per entry to get in. 80s Wire Class and the street stocks are full online. For more information, smashitderby.com. May Mania, that one's going to be a barn burner, hands down. We talked to Johnny Gullo here about a week and a half ago. And a good talk with him about May Mania coming up. They're taking the same format as what they used in Heber City last July. So it's going to be Friday and Saturday, May 18th and 19th, 2018. It's going to be in Salt Lake City, Utah. Stern Dirt Racing online, sterndirtracing.com. They want to send out a big thank you to all the driver supporters, partners, and especially the fans that helped make 2017 a successful year. We told you about Napa Winter Slam, and the last thing to hit on is the big Derby in March. Capital City Carnage. You've probably already heard about it. You're going to want to be there for that one. Kansas Expo Center in Topeka, March the 15th, 7 to 10 o'clock are the heat draws, and early inspection March the 16th is the Friday night, 7 o'clock start time. Limited weld heats 1 through 10, 100-car limit, top 2 advance. March the 17th is part of a doubleheader. 10 o'clock, the limited weld constellations 1 through 5, top 2 advance, which is going to set the field. And the compact feature also on deck, 2,500 to win there. 7 o'clock, the second half of the doubleheader, 2-man extreme feature, 2,500 to win. And the modified feature, 25 to win, leading up to the limited weld finals, paying $10,000 to win, $5,000 Mad Dog Award. Sitting on deck there. We remember Teddy Papadopoulos coming away with that one last year, and boy did he ever. Made a great run. It was fun to watch him do that. Jeremy, man, I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us for a little while. We'll definitely be in touch. I hope we hit on everything we wanted to hit on. If we missed it, let us know. We'll be back on the air with Randy here in a couple weeks to set up our final push towards Winter Slam.
All right. Well, hey, thank you guys, and good luck deer hunting, because that's what I'm going to do the rest of the week.
We'll enjoy it, and we'll talk more about fishing when we get a little bit closer.
10-4. You guys have a good night. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Jeremy. There goes Jeremy Ertman. That is going to do it for us here at the North Park building at Academy Square. Coming to you on a Tuesday night, fighting off a little bit of sickness here yesterday, but we're back and got one in the books. We'll be back on a regular Monday next week. Jeremy Gully's dropping off the New Year's cars and going to stick around and talk a little bit about Spinning Wheels Productions and what they've got planned, so it should be a fun show. We'll catch up with everybody just about 7 days, right? Math fails me right there.
6.
Just got called out straight out for not knowing how to count days. Nice job, right? I saw you glaring. That'll do it for this one. We're out of here. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah, online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.